Oh, hey, Alice. Good timing. I'm here with Josh and Felicia from Year of October. We were just chatting on this nice afternoon. Things are going on in the world and other places that but right now over here things are just pleasant. So yeah, we're just having a nice chit chat. You guys have a new album coming out soon.
Yeah,
Um, I think most of the recording's done. Is that my understanding?
yeah, the tracking's all done.
Okay.
I'm finishing mixing right now. I've got like 8 of the 10 songs mostly mixed, so I'm working on like the last 2, and hopefully we'll have it done and out to get mastered here by the end of February. And yeah, we're just hard at work on that. We just got like all the artwork figured out and that sort of thing, and so we're figuring out. After that, we'll figure out when we can release it with all the vinyl restraints and everything. We're trying to work through all of that as well. So
You guys are always on top of it, so proactive, doing things, and you're always making something. And like you stay out, like you go all over the place and play at all kinds of different shows, and it's really cool.
thank you.
Yeah, that's what we love to do. So we try to stay on top of it so
Yeah.
we can keep doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like, and there are like certain bands that I only see play sets with like certain people at certain places, but like you guys have like a wide web and you go out to all kinds of different things with different people, and like yeah, man. And yeah, and also it I'll quit blowing farts up your ass in a minute, but also your merch game is just so lit. You guys got cassettes, you got fucking shirts and hats, and like what don't you have? You got records, you got everything.
We don't have 8 tracks yet, but
Getting there.
getting there. Yeah, we just got hoodies, so
Hell yeah.
we got those. But yeah, we try to stay on top of that, and we always look at it like, what would I want if I was looking at a band stuff, and we just try to have fun with it,
And we make a lot of it ourselves. So like we've started pressing our own t-shirts and stuff during 2020. And I make like the hats and the koozies and all that stuff. So I feel like with us doing that, we're able to do like a lot more different styles than like some bands are just limited to, like they can order something and they can do a lot of different styles, but they're probably going to end up paying a lot more money than since we can do it ourselves. So I like that.
it's fun, yeah, and it's cool to be creative with it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely
Okay,
appreciate.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying I definitely appreciate you saying that. It means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. So I've got kind of like a two-part question. Like, so where do you think like art and inspiration comes from? Do you think it is something that originates with you, or do you think you kind of like channel it from somewhere else? And then like second part to that question would be like, what is your writing process like? What does it look like to create a song of yours? Do you guys like have a formula, or is it different every time?
I think it's kind of different every time for the songwriting process. We're both fairly creative just within ourselves, like who we are. We're pretty creative, but
Yeah.
I think that we find a lot of inspiration through like books and film and that all other sorts of art forms. Like I think we draw inspiration from
There's definitely
a lot of
times
places.
There's definitely times where like I'll see a movie and be like, I gotta go write a song, or like I gotta, and it doesn't sound like the movie, but like you write something that's inspired by, or like I don't know if it's necessarily like directly like me being like I have to. It's just like, oh man, that's so creative or cool. I have to try to do something on my own. And yeah, the writing process for us too is very like sometimes we'll have an idea. I've been working on it for months, and then other times I'll just pick up a guitar and something cool, will come to me, and I just try to record it on my phone or get the idea down, and then we'll either write it that week or come back to it. And I don't know, it's very different for each song. Sometimes she has an idea first, or I will, or on this new record, James would come with a drum beat, and we'd kind of go off of that.
I feel like Wastelands was pretty cohesive in coming out of like jams that we did as a band and just kind of wrote it all together for the most part. Before that, it had been more of like me coming with this vocal line and lyrics that I had written, or Josh having a guitar part that he had already written, and we would figure stuff out together. But I feel like on Wastelands, it was a little more coming out of just like band jams.
Yeah, it'd be like the end of practice, we would, and we have a kind of an unsaid rule that we're not allowed to say what stuff sounds like. Because like I've been in bands and someone will have a riff or an idea, and then someone will be like, oh, that's Pearl Jam, or oh, that's Kansas, or and that there's nothing that sucks worse than when somebody like pigeonholes your idea or your jam before you even try anything, because then you're like,
no, that's in your head.
Yeah, get this in your head, and then you might not have even been thinking that.
Yeah.
And most of the time, like that riff doesn't turn into anything and nobody else ever hears it. But sometimes it takes on a life of its own, and you can.
And it might have started out sounding like Kansas, but in the end, it doesn't sound like Kansas because we didn't find it.
Yeah. I gotcha. What are your thoughts on free will in whichever order you guys want to go? I guess let me be a little more specific. I guess, do you believe in free will, and what does that mean to you? Because I think people have different definitions.
That's a good question. I do believe in free will. I definitely have battled with that because I grew up. I went to like a Christian high school, and I never necessarily believed in it, but I had friends who believed in like predestination, and I've definitely battled with that over the years. But I believe in free will, and I kind of come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter if I believe in free will, because if free will doesn't exist in predestination, then there's no choice that I make that me thinking about it too much isn't going to change anything. But yeah, I definitely think that I believe in free will, and I believe in like choice, and like every decision you make changes things.
Yeah, I think we pretty much have the same opinion on that. We've talked about it a lot, and I feel like it doesn't matter came out of one night when we were just like, I mean, really, does it matter? Like we got deep, and then we were like, but if there is predestination, we're not going to change anything. So we're just going to live our lives how we want to.
Yeah.
Right.
Like like you guys are real artists, and so you can relate to like what I'm saying. You do music as a compulsion, like you do art as a compulsion. It's like, people appreciate what you do, but you would do it no matter what, right? Like that's in you. So it's like I feel like pulls like that as well, and it makes me wonder about my free will so much, like, because it's like I feel like a slave to this thing, and I don't mind it. It's great, but like I don't know what I would do with my life if I wasn't making art,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's a good question. It's a good question, and it's hard to answer in a short amount of time. But yeah, I think like even if like, because we've been doing this 10 years. We started the band in 2010. I guess 11 years, 12 years. 12 years. Oh my gosh. So I don't know what else we would do, because like, I mean, the band has changed a lot over the years, and it's like we get the question a lot too. People are like, how'd you come up with the sound? And it's like, we didn't really intentionally, like it's just something that like has come about over time. And any descriptive words that I could come up with are like, a lot of it is like, us like hearing like, oh, it sounds like this, and then we can. I hate to, but I'm saying like it's weird to like get that question because it's like I don't know what we sound like,
Yeah.
and it's like because
Right.
I know the band back in 2012, and I don't know
You sound like that band Year of October, and
exactly.
I can't really think of anything else, to be honest. Like you guys have a very unique thing you're doing. The other thing about your music, like I've been listening to it in the car, and I've heard this song like many times, and the way you do it, it never feels like I've listened to it a million times. It feels like fresh every time I listen to it. I don't know how you guys do that, but
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
uh,
cool.
I think like you do changes, and even though I know they're coming, they still catch me. So it's like it's
That's
very
awesome.
it's very fun music, man.
Yeah.
So let's get into aliens. I think we're probably all on the same page about that. But what what do you okay, so do you guys believe in extraterrestrial aliens, and do you think they've been here and interacting with humans in the past? And also, do you believe in interdimensional aliens, like outside of our realm? And do you think they've been interacting with our
Ooh.
history?
I mean, I feel like the universe is so big that there has to be some sort of extraterrestrial. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if I believe in ghosts, I have to believe in aliens too. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I think I definitely believe in extra. I definitely there's too many weird things that we can't explain that I think, like I don't even know how to describe it, but I definitely think that there's extraterrestrial aliens. I definitely think the interdimensional ones is the interesting part to me, just because like with ghosts, like the idea of that, and I definitely believe in that as well. So yeah, I definitely think they both interacted in some way or another. I don't know to what extent. Like,
it's like that movie, Another Earth. Have you seen that?
Another Earth?
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
that's
think
a
so.
that was a really interesting movie.
It's a cool film. It like starts off with this girl who's like valedictorian and like going off to college, and it's like her like the day of her graduation, and she ends up getting in a car wreck because she's like drinking and
She kills a family.
like the wife and kid and the husband lives, and so it's about how her life changes, and then they find out there's like another Earth that's supposed to be like exactly like Earth, and there's people that can win a trip over, and she's trying to win a trip over to see if her life is better on the other Earth.
To see, yeah, because like there's like everybody has like their other self, and so she wants to win a trip to see if her other self did the same choices that she did, kind of like the free will thing.
But I think it's cool. That's sort of like interdimensional, sort of like,
because in that movie they definitely like make it very obvious. I'm like, here's the Earth, and you see.
Yeah, it's like you can see it in the sky.
But I also think it's like in the movie, I think it's even meant to be more like metaphorical, and like even though they have like a physical thing, like they do a good job in the movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's not
the way I described it made it sound maybe a little campy or something, but it's actually really good.
Yeah, it's really emotional actually.
It reminded oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say what you were saying reminded me of that movie Upside Down with fucking Kirsten Dunst and James Sturgis. You guys seen that?
Seen that, no.
It's like they're in love and their worlds are like the gravity on this world, like at the top of this world is the bottom of this world, and like you can like jump over and like be over in that world. It's weird.
Yeah.
Did you see Us?
Yeah. Wait. Us. Yeah. That's
They have the it's
yeah.
Jordan Peele,
The family.
and they have
Yes.
like
The
Uh-huh.
under.
Underworld.
I did see that.
I liked it, but I thought that was so like far fetched. But I thought at the same time, I'm like, it's so out there. It's pretty fun. You just gotta
have
go
to
with it.
completely commit to that world for it to be okay. And it was great. I loved it.
I
But
think it was a fun movie. Like
It was, yeah. If you
I
think too
liked
much, it falls
I did
apart.
like the twist that caught me. I didn't expect that.
oh, I
I will
know.
say, yeah, definitely not as good as Get Out, but
Dude,
but not many movies have been as good as that.
I'm excited for Nope.
Yeah, Nope looks cool.
Just since we're on Jordan Peele right now.
did I tell you guys about my story about that movie Get Out?
No, I don't think so.
So, I when I watched that movie, it was probably like 4 or 5 months ago,
Mhm.
and I was in a like heavily altered state of mind when I watched it, and when it got to the scene where he like it's nighttime and he comes back in the house and she sits him down. You know what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about?
The
The
teacup.
tea.
Yeah. Okay.
I was convinced that this movie was trying to hypnotize the audience too. And like when I'm watching this, I like when she's doing the thing with the teacup, I get really like mellow and like and then he kind of goes like, wait, are we already? And then like she puts him back under. But then when he did that though, I was like, wait a minute, am I being like, what's going on here? And so like I hopped up and I turned the movie off. I'm like, no, I'm not watching this right now. And I went back and watched it later, and I don't think that's what's happening at all, obviously. But it's a great movie. But I've never in my life been so scared
Yeah.
from a movie. Hey Neif, what's up?
Hey, hey.
Yeah, but that. Whew, have you guys watched anything good recently?
We finished the last season of Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah.
Which we're big Twin Peaks fans. I don't know if you watched the show.
No, that's is that one Guillermo del Toro?
David Lynch.
David Lynch.
Oh, David Lynch. That's right.
That's one that came out when I was a kid when it came on TV. It was a TV series
Yeah.
they put out.
Wow.
And then they actually put out a movie, which was one of the first times that they had ever done that with a TV series movie and turned it into an actual, And I started to watch them because back then I didn't really watch them. And people told me for years to check them out. And I'm the kind of guy that's not gonna. I got to sit down and binge watch, And I started to watch them, but I just ran out of time.
Oh, we lost your audio.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
Okay. Talk about the interdimensional stuff, though. Twin Peaks. What I always tell people about Twin Peaks that I think is so cool is it's like when you're watching a show and people are like, "Oh man, it'd be cool if," like, I felt like when I was watching Lost, I was like, "Oh man, it'd be really cool if this was actually going on," and then it was like, "Oh, the reveal is actually really lame," like. Or like not as it never was like what I wanted it to be. It would always be like, oh, that's a trick, or this is whatever. But like Twin Peaks is like, but Twin Peaks is, but yes, it'd be like Twin Peaks. It's like, oh, it'd be really cool if there were aliens, and then Twin Peaks is like, oh, there are, and then it's like, oh, it'd be really cool if there were like an other dimensional demon kind of thing, And I'll be like, but it's probably not. It's probably, you know, some bad guy. Nope, there is.
It is.
And then it's like,
It's just cool.
oh, it'd be really cool if there was like government conspiracy cover-ups. And it's like, oh, there are. And also everyone's clones. And like, it's like, you know, it pretty much just runs with this bizarre idea, but it explains it actually. It kind of.
But if you, separate side note, since you said Scooby-Doo, because I love Scooby-Doo. It's like my favorite cartoon of all time. But there is like two seasons of Mystery Inc. There's like in 2011 or something, they did a new season of Scooby-Doo. And like the newer stuff I usually don't like, but do you know Resistance House Band?
Resistance House Band? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw them with Big Jed's 3 nights ago. Yeah.
We love them, but John Sims Jones, the singer guitar player, we got on Scooby-Doo one night and he recommended Mystery Inc. to me. So I was like, okay, if John recommended it, then it's going to be good. And it's like their origin story. And there are Twin Peaks references within Scooby-Doo.
Not just references, entire
episodes that are like Twin Peaks. And it's so dope. I recommend Mystery Inc. Everyone should watch Mystery Inc., especially if you like Scooby-Doo
also
at all.
Fortunately, having a 7-year-old, I get to see the, you know, and unfortunately, because I get to see some of the rehashings that aren't as good, and that's
yeah. When you were talking about some of the newer series not being so good, I was like, yeah, the ones like that were coming out when I was like coming up were not good. But that's good to hear that there's a new Scooby-Doo that's actually worth watching. That's exciting.
Twin Peaks gets a lot of references through ever since they've been out. I mean, I see there was a Disney show when I was a teenager. It was one of the afternoon shows when they were doing like DuckTales and that era.
Oh yeah, the golden era.
One of them had put out an episode that it was a very, very Twin Peaks reference, and I knew just enough about it to recognize what they were doing. And yeah, it's really great watching now, being an adult, watching those and catching the references that they're putting in for you now. That when you were a kid and you watched the old stuff, you're like, wow, I didn't realize that reference was there.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and now you're getting these new ones that are designed specifically for you, you know.
Definitely. I feel like a lot of shows reference The Shining too. Like they always have like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like now that when I watch old shows, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a Shining reference.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah.
All the time, everywhere.
Yeah.
Often the little girl saying, "Come and play with us."
Come and play with us, Danny.
I've seen that just parodied in so many ways. It's great.
Oh, and the guy, the dog guy, or the guy in the mascot, the furry suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of references that Shining started for sure. Are there any okay, so what are your favorite book series or books growing up?
We love The Dark Tower by Stephen King. Probably my favorite series. Or one of them. We're in the middle of reading the Robert Galbraith. What's that? The Cuckoo's Calling and
Cormoran Strike. It's like a detective sort of novel.
It was really good. I'm a big Dennis Lehane fan. The Kinsey and Gennaro series is really good. It's like hard-boiled detective, you know, kind of stuff. But like Gone Baby Gone is one of the books that turned into a movie. It's really good. You like Game of Thrones?
I did like Game of Thrones, yeah, but I mean, we're just left hanging. So
I read those. Those were fun. They're really long though.
Yeah, that's why I've been trying to get him to read them for like 6 years, and he hasn't even started, and it makes me angry because I'm like, I want to talk to you about. We haven't watched. Did you watch the TV series?
Unfortunately,
we haven't watched it here because I like to read stuff before, and so does he. And he just hasn't read it. And
wait, hold on a second. So you read all the books, but you haven't seen any of the show?
No.
I
That's
haven't
stop
either.
while you're ahead, man.
I know. I still want to watch it, even though I've heard like the last season is just garbage. But I still want to watch it. I just want to see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're part like because I watched the show first, but I bet there are definitely parts like reading the books, like and then seeing it like portrayed. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
The real problem is like when they ran out of source material, I think. So like they had 4 books out, I think, at the time. So there's like 4 seasons of material. So it'd be like, yeah, like 5 and 6 that were just not good.
Did
Really
you hear
not good.
about the game coming out tomorrow that he helped write?
Oh yeah, Elden
Elden
Ring.
Ring.
Yeah, I forgot that came
Yeah,
out tomorrow.
Gosh,
I'm very excited. It's so far it's got a 97 on critic score, which is tying Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
The real
I-
question is, what studio put it out?
It was
From
from
Software.
software.
And they're saying there's no bugs or anything. And I mean, From Software doesn't mess around.
Right.
It's the
I just-
Dark Souls guys, Neif. It's a Dark
Right,
Souls
right.
game. It's just got George R. R. Martin.
I beat,
So it's going to be really cool, but extremely difficult.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm all about.
Good.
he's beaten.
I've
pretty
beaten
much
all of them
except
except for
two.
2. I haven't beaten Dark Souls 2 yet. That's the only one I haven't played.
Mm.
But I just beat Sekiro like a month ago.
that one's fun. I like that one a
That
lot.
game's awesome.
I'm not. I've played most of them, but I'm not a huge Souls fan. There's something about I maybe it's just because I'm not great at it. Like it's really fucking hard. I think Sekiro is probably my favorite. Did you play Bloodborne? Because that was my favorite one aesthetically. I liked that everything was.
Favorite is probably Bloodborne. It's probably Bloodborne and then Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro. Or I liked 1 a lot, but I mean I played 1 like later, so like I feel like I didn't get to the combat's so much slower than the later games. It was like I beat it and it was a lot of fun, and I think the world is amazing, but yeah, combat wise it just felt a little more archaic.
Hmm. I just picked up Shin Megami Tensei 3.
Oh,
He's
3. I'm playing 5 right now.
5. I wanted to play 3 first because I saw it was on the store, the Switch store, so I just picked that up. I'm playing through Xenoblade Chronicles because a friend gave me his copy and told me to play it. So I'm enjoying that, but I'm also like trying to get through it so I can start this other game because I'm excited
Right.
about that. I'm a big
Shin Megami-
Persona fan, but I haven't played any of the Shin
I
Megami
love
Tensei.
Persona.
Yeah.
We pretty far in 5, but
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't beat it. It's just so much so much to it.
I got really excited because I heard that it's the same like the personas are in SMT, but they're like not personas. Is that right? They're like
Yeah, I
just
mean
demons on their own.
Persona 4 was even Shin Megami Tensei, because if you look
Oh,
at the box, Megami Tensei Persona 4.
that's right.
Persona's like a spin-off of the series, and with the popularity of 4, they just took Shin Megami Tensei out of 5, even though it's basically the same. When you play the games, they have like the same monsters and stuff.
That's what I was
And
trying to figure out. Okay, cool.
but Shin Megami, I mean, my experience through at least 5, I have not played 3, so I can't say. But Shin Megami 5 is more. It's more like Persona without the high school elements. It's like
That's
more
awesome.
just like straight dungeon crawling and like leveling up and grinding and fighting bosses and catching enemies and stuff. Like an adult.
It's an adult what?
Like an adult Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon. Yeah. I like the high school elements of Persona, but man, like getting through one of those games takes so long. It's
That's why
it's a
I haven't beat
commitment,
it.
man. Say
That's
what?
I'm like, that's why I haven't beat it. Just because like I like it a lot, and it's just like, but I'll like get through a dungeon and then I'll be like, I don't want to go through a month of school.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I don't want to study for this exam. I just want to fight
Yeah.
monsters. And my
Yeah,
cat keeps telling me
exactly.
to go to sleep. I can't even do anything.
My
Cat's
That
like, go to
seems
sleep.
it kind of seems like the balance that everybody tries to hit, especially with this whole like a survival genre, because the survival genre really became its own thing and then turned around and added an element back to a lot of games that they're trying to throw, along with crafting and stuff like that. But you end up with games that there's too much grind.
Right.
Or it's too arcade. There's not enough realism in it, and that's what I've been finding lately is, I'll check out a lot of the not released, the on Steam, the beta games, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of them have so much potential, but then you just see the developers just hit a wall, because it ends up becoming, is this just another skin over top of multiple elements that people want? Or am I doing something that's really making this game interesting?
Well, and like I was talking to Felicia, it's kind of like with music, like I don't have a problem like length of song or like length of a game or like a movie. The length of it doesn't matter if it's interesting. You know what I mean? And like I think like I've beaten games that take me, like 50 or 60 hours, but like sometimes I'm like, I would rather have a 15 to 20 hour great game experience where I'm not like having to spend 10 hours, doing the same thing over and over. But at the same time, I say that, but I also like the RPG where I have to like, okay, this, like, I like that about like I'm saying that, but I think like with Shin Megami Tensei 5, I realized to beat this, I'm at the first boss right now, which is like 10 hours into the game. I'm realizing that like to beat this dude, I'm going to have to grind for 3 or 4 hours and like get my guys leveled up. But I realized that going into it, I think the problem I have is when I buy a game and then it like tries to subvert expectations so much that it's like throwing like filler in, I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, for sure. Yeah, like there's a problem. Like if a game is long, I don't have a problem with that. But like you're saying, if a game is long because developers think long games are good and it has to be a certain length, that's a problem.
That's what I'm trying. You said that much better than I did, but yeah, that's what I was trying to
say.
say.
Also the other, when you look at things like mini games, you look at like in an RPG, say, Skyrim, stuff like that, you have lock picking. That's one of the things that it's like, and then you have these mini games laid into with a skill. So then you're going, why? Some games you never have to do the mini game. Some games you only can do the mini game.
Right.
And then they blend it, and you're like, well, after the first 10 times I do this, it's almost pointless for me to even be doing this. So is this element in there just to fill it up for the time, or did y'all just throw this in there so it had extra something?
I thought like mini games like Gwent and Witcher.
Yeah, which is by itself like one of the best parts of Witcher.
Gwent is so good.
Witcher
I still don't understand it. I still don't know how to play Gwent, but I love it.
Dude, I beat Witcher 3 and I beat all the DLC, and that's a perfect example of like, I think a game that like the side stories are almost, a lot of them are better than the main story, because like you get into like, I feel like a game like when I feel like escapism, like I just like, like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually hunting this monster, and I felt like a real like Witcher, you know what I mean? And it's like the game, I was like, leveling up and stuff, but I wasn't doing things for a deed. I was doing it because I'm like, I want to know who killed that guy, or I want to. That's when the game, like, I feel like really grabs you, is like when you feel like you're actually a part of the world.
Yeah, Witcher makes you want to do side quests, and Skyrim was all right about that, but Witcher like really took it home.
Right. But like, but yeah, Gwent though, I definitely won some rounds of Gwent, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
like I would just get good cards and win, and be like, okay, but I don't feel like I actually have a good strategy here.
I did the same thing with like when I played like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. I was I was like too young to understand the card concepts, but I wanted to so bad, so I would just like keep playing them. Like it's pretty much what I did when Witcher 3 came out with Gwent. It's like, oh man, I want to get into this. This looks cool, but I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm doing, so I'm just putting random cards down.
The card game in 8 was really good in Final Fantasy 8. The card game in 9 was not as good. I feel like they tried to do what 8 did. But I think 9 is a better Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
But
10's my favorite, and then 9's probably my second favorite.
my favorite, I mean, I've got the nostalgia of 7. Is like that was like my first like real RPG like that like took me like I honestly I remember like 90 like I bought the game and I got it because my friends were like, you got to play this game. And I remember I had never really played like a like I think I tried to play RPGs when I was younger and I didn't understand them, you know. And then at that point in my life, I was probably 12. I think I got it 98, and I was 12 years old, and I remember like playing the game and like being like I got out of Midgar and I thought I beat the game when I beat Midgar. I thought I was, and then the game opens up and I was like, I didn't know games could do this because I was like. It's like I didn't know why it had 3 discs. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, you know. And I remember like the game opens up, and then my friend's like, no, those discs are actually like, because I thought it was like replacement discs or something. Like, you know, I was stupid. But but I remember that game and Metal Gear Solid, the first Metal Gear.
Hell yeah.
But that game, those 2 games, I remember I got them like the same like year, like around the same year, and I remember like being like, this is what games can, and Link to the Past. I remember that on the Super Nintendo. Those 3 games were like what really hooked me on video games.
Metal Gear Solid's big for me too. That series is like something else, man. I was
Did
so
any of
sad.
y'all ever get a chance to play the very original Metal Gear
I haven't played
I
any of
have
those.
seen the
on
footage.
NES? Do it?
No, I haven't.
I haven't played it either.
No, okay. Next time you come to the satellite, I'll pull it up on an emulator.
Nice.
You won't be so impressed by.
Yeah,
But it is difficult, very difficult.
I think those are also Hideo Kojima games, so that'd be cool to check out.
Yeah.
He I was so sad when Silent Hill got canceled. Hills got canceled. I was
Yeah.
like,
PT.
yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, PT. PT was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that would have been an awesome game.
And then we got Death Stranding, which was something.
I actually haven't played it.
I like it, but the entire game is walking through a barren landscape carrying materials. So
That's what I was like. I mean, I might get it for like if I can get it for like $20 or something, but I was like, I don't want to pay $60 for a walking simulator.
I was just about to say that's what they call the walking simulator, and I start seeing that on Steam just put on there as an actual thing, so they let you know, look, this is what it is.
That game, I've not played that game. Like what, Firewatch. What I've heard that's really good.
I haven't played that.
That was the one that you.
Yeah, I was like, but it's another thing. I don't want to pay like $30 for it. I'll pay like, you know.
It was on sale the other day.
It was on sale for 10
On
or 15.
Switch,
I was
yeah.
like, I might get that, you know. But
we didn't.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because like talk about like like perfect example of like, and I love the Final Fantasy VII remake. I love that game.
Yeah.
But there is some filler in there.
Oh my god. The fucking ghosts, man.
Yeah,
Don't get
like
me
that
started.
was stupid. That was
That
stupid.
was crazy.
But like the combat was great. I'm like, why didn't you make this like? Why did you feel like you had to make this a 30-hour game? Make it a solid 18 to 20-hour game. I would have been completely happy with not having to do the giant like Hojo sequence where you're like, sorry, we got a phone call in here. But you know, it's like I would have been completely fine with the 18 to 20-hour great, and then have like some of the other stuff is like side quests, you know, like I don't know. Like I remember like there was one side quest in it though where this one guy was like, find my chocobos, and I was like, no, I don't want to find. I don't care about those. Like
Not
I'm like,
happening.
yeah. But I will say though, saying all that, I still loved it. I'm excited for the next one.
It's a Chocobo Racing game coming out.
Yeah, Chocobo Racing's coming out for free, I think.
Nice. Didn't know that. That's cool.
I didn't get that too deep into Final Fantasy. I played the Game Boy version.
Mm.
And I played, and that one was hard.
Was that a tile based like movement game, like attack?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could randomly get in fights, you know, randomly. It was kind of like, and then the next one I played, I think was, I want to say it was 7. Is that Cloud with the big giant sword?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7, yeah.
Where the chocobos are.
Yeah.
I played that one, and you know, years later, what cracked me up is the chocobos became almost as iconic because they started popping up in every other game.
Well, that's not the first game that they're in. They're in earlier Final Fantasies. No.
They're in another 5.
Yeah.
When was I don't even know which one the first.
But did they come from Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Right. I mean, there was, I've seen Minecraft mods for chocobo breeding. Just like you can breed the game, and you can literally do it the same way in there, and they all have special abilities.
Nice.
Years ago, I saw that. I was cracking up.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It's funny how the word meme comes from the word gene, and like, so because it like they like propagate and spread, so it's like it's funny how an idea can catch on with people and become like this massive thing. For example, like a really popular book can like, or a movie can like get everyone talking about it, and or extreme example, like a book can start a holy war and like cause all this division. It's just interesting how ideas kind of spread almost like viruses. It's interesting. Not that they're bad things, but it's like that knowledge wants to be like spread around, and I guess misinformation does too.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
No, yes, it's like you're saying, like if someone takes like an idea at face value, and someone might even like, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're completely right on that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
This is our cat Scott.
That's a good kitty.
Hey, kitty cat.
Penny made an appearance earlier, but she wasn't as upfront about it.
She's getting jealous now, though.
That's a good cat. Felicia, do you have any ghost stories you want to share?
Sure. The house that I grew up in Mayfield, Kentucky, it's no longer there. They tore it down, which is sad because it was a cool house. But it was definitely haunted. I think the whole area around the house was haunted. So like when I was home alone, I lived there until I was 13, I think. And then we moved. But like when I was home alone, I'd hear like people walking like in high heels up and down the hallways and all kinds of stuff. My sister used to hear people calling her name from the back room, being like, Tiffany, come here. And there'd be nobody back there when she went back there. But like my grandmother in the house, there was like a picture that was hanging on the wall and it floated off the wall at her. And she just went, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And it fell at her feet. And then the biggest one is probably my Uncle Devin. So our house was on a lot of land and it was at the top of this really long like gravel driveway. And at the end of the driveway was another house. And my aunt and uncle and cousins lived in that one for a while. And so he had come up to our house to use the washing machine. And the way the house was set up, like you come in and there's stairs that go down to like the basement living area. And underneath the stairs, there's a bathroom. And so he was using the bathroom under the stairs and he hears the door open and close. And he starts yelling for like my mom or my grandmother or my dad, and nobody answers. And so then he hears like a man's footsteps walking down the stairs above his head. And so he starts freaking out because he thinks somebody broke into the house and they don't know that he's there. So he's in the bathroom trying to find something that he can attack somebody with. And across the hallway from the bathroom, there's like a bar. And so he hears the door to the bar open and close. And so he runs out in the hallway and looks over the bar, and the cabinet doors are opening and slamming and no one's there. And so he like freaks out. And the only reason that I know that story is true is he did not tell us that until we moved out of the house. So like if he had told us that when we lived there, he'd just been trying to like mess with us. He was like, I knew this would freak you all out because you were already freaked out about the house. And he was like, I just had to tell y'all because like it was insane.
You and your cousin have the same, well, the cousins.
Oh, my cousins had the same dream. So the people who owned the house before us, it was crazy. Like they were very wealthy and like, I don't know. He was the superintendent and she played piano. Like apparently we had a pond in our front yard, and apparently when they had it dug out, he had it dug in the shape of like a baby grand piano because his wife loved music and everything. But like it was just them that lived there. And I don't know, maybe they didn't like that a family moved in instead of having the parties. That's what I wrote our song Golden Days about that. And I felt like the house was antagonistic towards having a family and 4 kids living there instead of having like these parties and all kinds of stuff. But my cousins that lived at the house at the end of the driveway, we were hanging out one day at my house, and Emily, my cousin, started telling this dream that she had about this woman with like long dark hair and red lipstick that used to try to like would chase her and try to get her to like leave our property. And like my cousin, her brother Kurt, his face like went white, and he was like, I have that exact same dream. Like describe the woman to a T, like they're having the exact same dream. And then like we went and told my grandmother, and she kind of got white because the person they were describing is the lady that owned the house before us. And like we've never seen a picture of her or anything. But yeah, it was crazy. And like the people who owned it before us were called the Deweeses. And like me and my sister still refer to that house as the Deweese place instead of like our old house. So I'm like, I don't know. And it's just a lot of stuff. My sister started telling me a story about one reason she was scared about it. And she was like, I just knew if I looked out the window that they would be looking at me. And I was like, you call them they too? And so I'm like, I don't know. We just never really talked about it, but I got chills because I was like, oh my God, we refer to whatever was there as they, and we didn't know. I don't know. It's just a lot.
Have you seen that show Archive 81 on Netflix?
No, I saw it pop up, but I haven't watched it.
It, like I usually don't like exorcism and possession movies because they are just so campy and don't do it right. But
Right, yeah.
that one, yeah, you guys should check that out when you get time. I think you'd like it. It's creepy as fuck.
Really? Yeah, we need to watch it.
I actually haven't. It's funny, we haven't seen too many exorcism movies. I've not even seen the original Exorcist.
We've read the book though.
But the book is amazing
and terrifying.
And like, have you read the book?
I haven't. Now I'm really interested too, though.
So the scary part about the book is it's written like classic, like it's like a classical like style. Like it. So when it describes all this like horrific stuff, it does it very plainly. It like within the same like paragraph or like I don't know, it kind of sneaks up on you. Like, 'cause I was reading it and I was like, oh, this isn't scary, and then like like I remember I read it before Felicia did. I read it in like 2 or 3 days, but there's a couple times I would leave the light on. like I was like, this is, like I would put the book down and I'd be like, holy crap, that is. And there's like no, like hardly any bad, like the only person in the book who I think has bad language is the mom and the daughter. And it's like the daughter, when she's possessed, is like, screaming the F word and stuff, but everybody else is very proper and like it's very intentional to like, I don't know, like pull you into that environment.
We haven't watched we started The Haunting of Hill House, but like we couldn't get into it. I don't know.
The acting was bad.
The acting, we didn't like the acting.
I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, we started watching it because my sister said it reminded her of the house we grew up in, like how our situation growing up. And I was like, okay, that's a little terrifying because everyone's talked about how scary it is. But our house was very scary. I still have dreams that I'm trapped in that house.
Interesting.
But I would like to build it because it was.
Sorry, what would you say?
I still have dreams that I'm trapped in that house, like I can't get out. But it was like a beautiful house. I would love to rebuild it. Yeah, but it's like I'm terrified and in awe of it.
I got you. I meant the part where you said it was like a beautiful house is the part I missed. So when you dream about being in that house, are you a kid? Or do you
sometimes I'm an adult, sometimes I'm a kid. It's weird.
That's scary.
Yeah. Most of the time I'm trying to escape through the kitchen door, which goes out to the patio. But I can't get out.
So
I don't know.
Hard segue into something different. What do you guys think happens after we die? And I like to preface that with like, who the fuck knows? No, none of us know. But I think we all had different ideas and inclinations about it, what it might be. So do you guys have any ideas about what might happen after we die?
I really don't know. I mean, I grew up, like a Christian and everything. I don't know if I necessarily believe that anymore, but I really don't know. I put a lot of time into thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know. There's never really anything that I never, just not like any firsthand accounts of it or anything. So I don't know. What do you think?
It would be nice if that was good.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, good is good. I would like to think that like we continue in some way. What were you gonna say, Josh?
Oh, I was saying, what do you think?
Oh, I would like to think that, like Felicia said, we all go somewhere good and like things are pleasant. I think is happening is like we're all okay, so basically God was like alone in the universe. He was all there was. And then he created life so that he could go down into the life and pretend that he wasn't alone. So I think we are all literally the same person. And I hope that when you die, we don't just like return to that God consciousness. I want to still be me somewhere. So I hope that's what happens. But I believe what makes us different is the experiences we go through and also like what your parents bring into it, like like your biology,
Right. Stuff you can't choose, like
yeah,
who you are, where you're born. Yeah.
That's helped me to like extend my empathy too, because it tells you like like even the worst people in the world, like Stalin or Genghis Khan, like they're product of their environment and like the circumstance that they went through. And in the exact same circumstance, you would do the exact same thing, like down to the when he picks up his cup of coffee to like down to the exact same way he does it, you know? Anyway, that's what I think is going on. Who knows though, right?
Right. That's interesting. I kind of like, so you talk about Final Fantasy 9, like the whole idea of like the clone and like, do you have a soul and that kind of thing. I love that, the idea of just talking about it. I always like and I know it's going back to the game, but I always like in that game that there's not like an answer to it. They just kind of like, but I love that they like discuss it, like I don't know, think about that a lot though too, because like I definitely think I mean we're cloning. I think we're cloning humans at this point. I know that there's not like it's like I just would see. I don't know why they wouldn't. If they haven't yet, they definitely will. So like, what would that do?
According to public knowledge, so far we have what we know or what they've let us know they've been able to do is take stem cells and 3D print them into I want to say it was a liver or a kidney for a pig, transplant it successfully, and the pig survived.
Right. That's pretty interesting.
And that's been almost 10 years ago they did that.
Yeah.
So that brings up an interesting point, Josh. It like, okay, so with clones and I guess like also AI, do you think that is like let's start with clones. Do you think that would be like equivalent rights to like a person? Or do you think okay. So like it is a person, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think so. I mean,
that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I would need to know more of the I guess the specifics of like, but I think from like the basic my basic understanding, which is very limited, if a person was created, then I think that would be a person. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too.
That brings up another question, because if you create a clone of a human, you're not just creating like a copy of yourself, you're creating another baby. You're gestating a child that's going to basically be the same as you. Who would be the parent of that child? Who would legally have dominion over that child until it was whatever the law said, 18 or whatever? And you being the DNA donor, or basically that being your copy, would you be able to have intellectual property right claim on that human because they are using your DNA?
And when what is it in NFT?
NFT. This is my NFT.
NFT.
Money off my NFT, man. Come on.
I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't even have a guess at that one.
Right.
That last one was funny as shit.
I'm not throwing that as a question. It's just, I throw that as that rhetorical, like, it's something to think about.
Right.
That last scenario you presented about like if your clone writes a song, you're just like, oh no, you mean my song.
Everybody's cloning Mozart. They just get like the most famous musicians of all time and clone them, and then keep all their new music. That's the real horror movie right there. Like,
as a producer, I'm intrigued by this idea.
All this clone talk has got me thinking about Boba Fett now. Have you guys been watching that?
We have not.
We watched the last season of Mandalorian, but we haven't seen Boba Fett yet.
It's pretty good. It's actually I was surprised how different it is, The Mandalorian. It's got a very different way of like the narration style, like the way it moves is different. But okay, so I've got a hypothetical situation for you guys. So exactly as you are now, you're teleported to a room with no like just like white walls and like white ceiling and floor. And directly across from you is an exact clone of you to the instant that you were brought there. So they have the exact same thoughts that you do. And they're looking at the same blank wall behind them that you're looking at. So it might as well be a mirror. Like, and I guess we'll say there's like a door between you guys in the middle. What is your first instinct? Like, what do you do?
Start a add them to the band.
So you both
Let's go play bass.
simultaneously ask the other one, be like, "Hey, you want to join my band?"
And then
we do need a clone of you.
We just be like, "Yo, you play bass." That's the answer right there. Yo, you play bass. Now, who plays bass?
But then
Who's
he'd
on
go
first.
Yeah, but then he'd go, "No, you play bass." He's like, I'm
Honestly,
the real.
We both would want to play bass.
I just feel like my clone would be evil.
Bass is my favorite instrument. That's my.
Oh, okay.
Really, like, who has to play guitar?
Yeah,
it's on guitar. But yeah, who's on first? You know.
Yeah.
We know what it is. We would just trade off every other night.
No one would know.
No one would know.
Yeah. Okay. So you would collaborate with yourself. You'd be like,
I think mine would be evil. So like, we're just gonna leave her locked in that room.
But she'd be thinking the same thing about you, because
I know.
because there'd be no way to know which one. There'd be no way to know which one is actually the clone, because you're like both teleported there, and you have the exact same thought process. So if you moved, they would move the exact same way. And I think it would be like that until you change the stimulus. Like, you'd have to look at things from a different point of view, and then you get out of that, like, thinking exactly the same way.
I mean, we watched the show, and I don't, because that's the thing, like, talk about like free will and like choices and stuff. I mean, I do believe in free will, and I think the minute you got in the room, you would make different decisions. So like, I disagree. I don't think they would make the exact same choice.
Interesting.
Just because I think you would be on the other side of the room, so you'd immediately have opposite.
That's why I removed stimulus from the equation. I was trying to make it exactly the same, like you're looking in a mirror, basically. So the stimulus is exactly parallel.
So we watched the TV show, and I liked the show up to a point. What was that show called?
Dark?
No, the one that was the with the Nick Offerman.
Oh, Debs.
Debs.
Devs.
DEVS.
I've heard about this. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
That, but I didn't.
I liked it, and I won't spoil it then. Just if you haven't seen it, we won't spoil it. It's a good show. I liked it until the last like 2 episodes, but like, it talks about like free will, and like, I just don't believe. I mean, and it's just me, but I definitely don't think that just because you have the exact same scenario, I don't think people, even though like you're programmed the exact same, I think because of every little minute thing, you would make different decisions.
I gotcha.
Because you'd be looking at yourself. I think that there's too many variables. But at the same time, I think if you take out stimulus, then I guess you would be exactly the same. I think
you'd be locked into it until someone coughed. Well, you'd probably cough at the same time if like it was an exact clone. So I guess you'd have to see something from different.
Physically, like, if it was an exact clone, your body would be reacting in the same kind of timing until you broke that. Like, right. If you both drank something different, if you both, one of you took more sugar in than the other, that's when you begin to start.
Well, all it would take
things
is
like that.
all it would take is looking at a tree from two different vantage points, is like looking
Right.
at an object from two different angles. So all you'd have to do is walk around the room, and if there's anything like a doorknob, it's like, or anything at all, any kind of stimulus would, now now you'd be different people, actually. Really.
Right. It's interesting. I'd still join a band with myself though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good decision.
So I mean, like, well, I mean, Felicia decided, like, the whole idea of like one of you would be evil. Wouldn't both of you be evil then?
Well, probably, but I
So,
mean, you know
implying,
me, so
implying
I,
that.
it's,
Wait, which is implying that you are evil.
yeah, exactly.
So,
I
So-
always tell him I joined the Star Wars, so
But that's interesting though. Like what would you, how would you deal with yourself? Like if you tried to fight
would I do?
yourself, if you tried to like fight yourself, you'd both be throwing the punch at the same time. So
I think what you like you said about seeing things from a different angle. So like if we have the door, I would walk to that point and maybe we could see that doorknob at a different angle somehow, and then I would lock her in the room.
but you're telling yourself how you're going to do it right now.
oh yeah,
It's
that's true.
We can't reveal what we would do, or else I will know.
I'll do
I'm just
something.
kidding.
I would
I'm
trick her. I'm tricky and evil.
but she is too, so you gotta watch out. So
Yeah.
it's
What if you
That's-
woke up one day and were told you're a clone, and this other
That-
person is the real you, and that all your memories were injected, and that's where you're at, but you're the clone?
I'd probably be good with that.
You'll probably be okay. I mean, nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
I'd be a little depressed probably, but I mean that's normal.
Would you try to argue and take over?
I mean, what's he got?
You know,
Yeah,
be like, look, I'm
yeah.
newer.
Huh.
I mean, maybe my scenario is better than his though.
Right. You don't have the weight of whatever he's got going on.
Well, also you got to think a clone. We're also thinking of the idea that it's been not just filled up with your memories, it would have to be filled up with injury, detriment, any problems your body had physically while you grew. Otherwise, it would be like a brand new version of you because they have to raise it. You know,
Yeah.
so they raised it in gelatin, feeding it memories. So it just woke up one day at the point of time that it was supposed to match up with you. Its body would still be, they would have to purposely damage the tissue to age it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And
So,
Now you-
and there'd be no point in that. You know, your clones would just end up being like brand new versions of you.
and now
That-
you've
that,
got
like,
me on
like
a
new car versions that never got driven, you know, like two models, one got bought and driven and the other just stayed in the shop.
Right.
And now you've got me thinking about an interesting, like, how does astrology play into clones? If you're spawned on August 5th, but the original person was born on December 12th, like, whose zodiac chart are you
My
following?
birthday. December 12th, my birthday.
Did that really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Huh.
Are you my clone?
That was no, it's in the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be funny if it did play into it. Like the person had I don't know any of the stuff. I don't even know what I am, but
You're a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
That
Yeah,
would be
that-
a really odd way to prove that the zodiac was legit. They cloned somebody and they're like, the only variable that we changed was the day that they spawned, and the dude's completely fucking different.
Yeah.
You know?
What's your sign, Felicia?
A Libra.
Libra?
Mm-hmm. October 12th.
Nice. Do you know y'all's moon signs?
I just looked it up the other day. I think it's Pisces and Scorpio. So I think Scorpio is my moon and Pisces is my rising.
Okay.
You know, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
He has no idea.
I'm waxing.
I'm a Aries sun and Libra moon, Libra rising.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That sounds cool.
Aries is it's
Water.
like it's a mountain goat, and the whole thing about Aries is like it like if you ever like have you ever seen those pictures of mountain goats where they're like doing the most absurd shit, like scaling like
on nothing on the side of a mountain.
yeah, like risking life to climb this fucking mountain, and it's like why? And it's like they have to climb, they have to get to the top of this mountain. And then the thing is though, like off in the distance they see another mountain that's even higher, so they're like, okay, well, on to the next one then, and they just do that
Goats
until they
instinctually have
eventually
to
die.
be. Yeah, goats instinctually have to be at the highest point they can be at.
Huh.
That's why if you have pet goats, you can put things out in the yard and they'll climb up on top of them. And it's almost doesn't matter how small it is. They will try to figure out a way to perch on things, and you'll see pictures. You can look it up. You see these wild pictures of all these goats just hanging out in their yard, and they're all just on top of random shit. You're like, what in the
Is that
hell?
why they people's backs at yoga?
Mhm.
The highest point in this room is that dude's back.
Yeah. And they can be aggressive. They can be aggressive as hell. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a domineering and also an instinctual thing to look for predator. You know.
Now that you mentioned, I've definitely seen goats as like on perched on top of little things with all their little feet like on
Yeah.
little things before.
Now, have you ever seen the way the falcons will hunt the goats, the mountain goats? They can't lift them, but they know that when they're on the edge of these mountains, if they grab them and start pulling them, they
That's
will
so
pull them
fucked.
off the edge, and they let them go, and they fall, and they just slam on the rocks, and they fly down, and they're all beat up and busted up for them.
As a mountain goat, I don't like hearing that.
It's pretty brutal. Like, damn, y'all. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's savage as hell.
Yeah.
Just fucking pull you off this mountain. Jeez.
Yeah.
Tenderizing the meat.
Yeah. I mean, it does. You know, I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of feet they fall because they're way up there.
I don't do well with heights
No.
in real life. I like roller coasters, but
I'm not worried about the height or the falling. It's that sudden stop at the bottom that worries me.
So you said you do like roller coasters though?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
We do like really both scared of heights.
Do you guys will you guys do like the ones that just go straight down?
I have, yeah. It's not my favorite.
Like the pull up and drops.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore because we
Six
wait. Let me tell you.
in Louisville.
So in Louisville, I'm from Lexington, Kentucky, and in Louisville, there's Six Flags, and we actually had a friend who was there. He didn't see it, but they shut down the park because one of the cables came loose on the drop. You know, cut off this chick's legs, like right below the knee. And there were people like waiting in line that got hit by parts of her.
Yeah, so we don't do the up down ones anymore because we're scared.
But anyway, they shut down the park. My friend, like I said, my friend didn't see anything. He was on another ride or whatever. But he's like all of a sudden they just emergency crew was there, and like she ended up living and probably getting taken care of for life. But she lost part of her legs. So after that went down, I don't do the drop zones anymore.
Except for like the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
We'll still ride the
Tower of Terror is super dope.
at Disney.
So it amazes me. I've seen some of the horror stories that have gone on. It's more modern. It seems like it's more now than it was when I was coming up. And you were more worried that the roller coaster, the big giant roller coaster, was going to collapse, and they never had any problems. But it's like the slingshot ones and all the little quick ones that. There was one that I saw, and it was horrible. This little kid and I guess his mom, and it was this long, I don't think it was in this country, it's this long drop, but there's a tunnel that you go into, and the kid's head pretty much got scalped on the top of that, right there with his mama. And I think she got hit too and hurt real bad, but and it's just right off the drive. And I'm like, of all the physics and the calculations y'all put into this,
Yeah.
how can, something that kind of simplistic,
Well, something I think too, I think the reason it's more modern though, do you think that's more because of like news and like, because like back, I mean, like supposedly back, like Disney has had so many deaths, like they just cover it up, and
the news crew doesn't get out there in time before it's cleaned up.
Right.
Like, oh no, nothing happened here. No, that was just a little spill.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine, especially back in the day, like carnivals, like traveling carnivals, like
I can't believe like fair rides and stuff.
Fairs,
fair rides. They're so terrifying. But
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's cool.
I was just gonna say, I took mushrooms and went to Dollywood, and I thought it was gonna make it more intense, but I ended up like I'm riding like wooden rickety roller coasters, and I see like dudes on site like repairing stuff because we went early, so like I think like general maintenance in the morning kind of thing, and these monster wooden roller coasters, and like I'm going fucking 60 miles per hour, just like rickety, but and I'm thinking like I don't have any fucking adrenaline in my body whatsoever, but I'm just thinking like this is an interesting thing that like people do for entertainment. Like
It's so much trust.
Yeah. Like I was just having like deep philosophy about roller coasters. Like, why do we do this?
You couldn't be entertained. You were too busy trying to philosophize about people being entertained.
Right. And then we did one of those needle ones that go straight up. And like I'm in free fall, and I'm just like, I don't feel anything. I feel my heart rate is completely normal. And I'm just like looking at the ground, and like I've never experienced that kind of like I was so disassociated from any, like I could have splattered the ground and I wouldn't have felt anything. Like no
mountain goating.
Yeah.
You would have been the only one that didn't die of a heart attack before you hit.
Yeah. He died smiling.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. I mean, as I've gotten older, I still ride a lot of them, but I've definitely become more weary just because you hear stories and stuff. And it's like, it is a weird thing to think about because you put so much, I mean, same thing with, someone could bring up the argument of like flying, but like, those, I don't know. But like, yeah, as entertainment purposes, it's such a weird thing to put so much trust in somebody else's design and stuff.
I was also thinking about how awful of a job that'd have to be, because like I'm sure you have to ensure that if you're the guy the company that builds that, they've got to have some kind of policy with the park where it's like you are in charge of maintaining, and
basically the park purchases the ride and the park owns the ride, so it's up to the park to make sure the maintenance.
Oh really?
Yep. And it's your maintenance department, and the problem is you might have a minimum wage maintenance department.
I didn't know that.
Right.
I assumed it would be the people that built it would have to.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
No, because if I build something and I sell it to you and then I'm still liable for it, you could go out there and just not do shit with it, and then it kills 37 people. Now I'm got to cover it because your 16-year-old park operator and the 18-year-old maintenance guy were, busy taking ball rips and the fucking.
So that's entirely on the park then, if something happens.
I feel like with Dollywood, you were pretty safe then, because Dolly seems to do a good job of taking care of her employees.
Yeah, they got some money. There's some money back in that place.
Other parks, maybe not as much.
Bob Dylan's park, which we never hear about.
Right.
Didn't know it existed.
They call it Dillonville. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it doesn't exist. I was like,
doesn't exist.
Well, it doesn't exist.
I would go once I mean, I like Dylan, but
No,
Buff
No, it's-
Dylanville.
it is my friend.
We've got the big brass bed, right?
My friend worked at he didn't do maintenance, but he was security at Kings Island in Cincinnati. And he had some interesting insight on it. He said that the maintenance people, though, they actually have like an engineer, like engineers for each ride on site, who like they test it before every day. And but like he said though, like I mean, like you said though, you get a guy who has a bad day and doesn't do his job, or like lies on the piece, which I mean,
There is a human aspect.
there's a
in all
human
of it.
aspect of it, yeah, that's flawed. But he did say that they did shut down a couple rides because they would do like the testing. And if it didn't get up to a certain speed, or they would.
So when we were at the Harry Potter thing, the Dueling Dragons was down the whole
Yeah, it was
time
down.
because they couldn't get stuff to work right.
But like, I mean, I can't imagine how much money like the big ones. Like, I mean, now it's like, and like we said too, like nowadays, like Disney can't afford to have someone get their head lopped off, at a ride or something. You know what I mean? Like you can't, or like, like, because it would be, so newsworthy. And it would get on, it'd be on the 24-hour news network,
that ride would have to be completely removed.
Exactly.
There would be there's no coming back from that. Their attendance would plummet, for at least a minute. I mean, y'all remember when the guy, I mean, it was God, that was so scary to even read about, the guy's little boy that got snagged by the gator in Disney World. Literally, because down in Florida, I mean, they're everywhere, and there's swamp everywhere, and in Disneyland there, and it's literally its own little city.
I fed some marshmallows when we were there. My cousin lived in Orlando, and there was like his neighborhood gator. We get on the, he loved marshmallows. A big fat guy.
Well, apparently they were watching one of the events, because down there every night they'll do an event or whatever.
With fireworks and stuff.
Yeah.
And this kid was standing, I guess they had their back to this pond. And the gator came out, grabbed this kid, pulled him in, right in front of his folks, man. Just horrible. And I'm like, Disney cannot downplay that. How do you downplay someone's child got eaten by an alligator in our park? It's not like, oh, a ride broke or this unfortunate. It's like somebody's child got. Yeah.
I was thinking, the plus side to a ride causing someone to lose their head at Disney is there's not going to be a line for it, so you could just get in you could just keep riding it. You just keep getting on it.
Yeah, but at Disney they got the quick passes.
Yeah. That's what we would.
You can skip the line if you got so many of them, so you can use them.
Yeah, we went to Disney on our honeymoon several years ago, and we wore the buttons that were like just married or whatever. And I recommend anytime you go to Disney, just wear the married buttons, because everyone gives you your fast passes. Like we rode Tower of Terror like 10 times in a row, jumping to the front of the line. It was amazing.
The funniest story about that though is we went to go eat dinner or lunch. It was lunch.
Oh my God.
And we tried to go to this little diner that was like a normal lunch spot. We walked into the place next door on accident, and it was like $30, $40 a plate. And like we walked in and they were like, oh, this is reservation only.
They were like, do y'all have reservations?
And then they saw our just married sticker, like, oh, we'll make a table for you. And we were like, and then they got in there and I got the menu, and I was like, and we were really hungry, but I was like, I'm gonna have a salad.
Yeah, like, we had a Cobb salad and a cheese plate because they were the cheapest things on the menu.
I think I got a $20 Cobb salad, and then Felicia got a plate, and there was no joke, an Italian mobster.
I swear he was.
I swear, he was. His mom was talking like fluent Italian. He's eating like a steak and taking shots and drinking like really nice whiskey, and his like 20-year younger wife was sitting next to him with like their 2 children, which are acting terrible. And he sees what we order and starts mouthing off to us.
He's like, "Look at them! I got a steak."
Look at them.
That was Australian.
It was Australian.
He was definitely Italian.
But he literally was like making fun of us.
He was like, Cobb salad.
I literally, I was like, Felicia, is he talking about us? She's like, he is.
I was like, let's just eat quickly and get out of here.
And like, he's like, I mean, like tip, like he's like, I don't know. It was a very weird experience. Our waiter wanted our waiter realized we had no money, and then we weren't gonna buy actual food or like a meal. He wanted to get us out of there as well because he knew he wasn't gonna get the big tip that he was gonna get.
But the married pins get you to do anything.
Yeah. So anyway, when you go to Disney, get yourself a just married pin. You can be there, whatever.
They'll let you beat up the mascots.
You'll want for nothing.
He's like beat the shit out of Pluto.
Hey,
it's like, hey, just married, motherfucker.
Have
y'all seen any of that footage from years ago?
What?
Have y'all ever seen any of the footage from years ago of kids just beating the crap out of these? It's like doing a Mickey Mouse, and it's like 5 or 6 kids beating the crap out of him. I mean, he can't do nothing because he's in a suit, and they're pulling the head off of him, and they're just, yeah, and you're like, what? It's funny, but it's not, but it is, because you're like, what the hell is this? Who's letting these, where are your folks cheering y'all on, or did y'all just step away and decide to beat the...
You let my kids play.
I paid enough money to get in here. If he wants to beat the crap out of Mickey Mouse, goddamn it, $1,500 to get for this whole damn trip.
I feel like they
get that ass whooping.
They did just allow people to, if they were like, all right, for the premier pass, it's normally $100 to get in, but for $200, you can beat up any mascot you want.
Yeah.
You don't like Cinderella? Here she is.
That might be what happens if next time they have like a horrific incident and they have to like up their admission. They might have to do that this year. The new premium pass.
This package includes complimentary weapons.
Yeah, assault. Yeah, you can assault your favorite Disney character.
I think we're onto something.
Yeah, $1 million
Hey,
idea.
I'd be down. I'd go there myself for my own vacation.
Goofy. We'll say every time I run into, I always do a dance with them though.
You do a dance with Goofy.
Me and Goofy have a good repertoire.
What's the Goofy dance like? You don't have to give us the full thing, maybe just a little.
Dance and we jump around and smack feet together. I usually just mimic whatever he's doing. It's like, you know what it is? My clone is usually in the Goofy suit.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, the dance. Perfect.
Yeah. So you already know what each other are going to do.
Yeah, I already know the dance. That's why it's choreographed. Bringing it back around.
I feel like Goofy is the most likely children's cartoon character to like commit atrocities like genocide and things. Like,
and dance about it.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't trust Goofy around my kids as much as like Donald or Mickey.
Joker of Disney.
He's the Joker.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll do it again.
Goofy movie. My kids went to college.
Goofy movie is.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Goofy movie is really upsetting.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, those are good movies. I'll quit hating on Goofy. He's a family man. He's a good man.
He's a family man.
Him and Max.
Yeah.
Max. Your dad's named Goofy, and he names your son Max.
I haven't thought about Goofy movie in a while. And then there's Extremely Goofy movie. I think we're all ready for Goofy movie 3.
Yeah.
Totally Goofy.
Totally Goofy, dude.
Yeah. Rated R.
In a world.
That's Goofy.
In a world.
People don't think he can play Goofy, but he's a very talented actor.
Who's that?
Robert Pattinson as Goofy. People don't believe that he can play Goofy, but I believe. I've seen the movies.
What's
next week, right?
That's what I was just about to bring up. Yeah, his new Batman. It looks like a movie.
A movie.
My only trepidation is why are they releasing it in February?
Hmm.
Or
That is
because
weird.
I mean, like
That
that's
is
when you bury movies, right?
Mhm.
I mean, they don't
I
think
think
it can July, like
Yeah, no, pretty much in everything from restaurant, hospitality, entertainment, from New Year's until Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, kind of, that's dead zone.
right.
That's the new year. Everybody's holding their money. Nobody's doing anything. Everybody's like, and then the summer hits and you get reruns on the television. Everybody, you know, takes what they still got, hits vacation, does that. You have your summer things happen, your summer movies. And then from that point on, after summer, that's the money making time.
Right. So like, I mean, I'm hopeful that it's good, the new Batman, because I like Batman. I want it to be good, and it looks like it could be good. And I like Paul Dano a lot. But
Is he the Riddler?
he's the Riddler, yeah.
now that you mentioned like that they're releasing in February, I also saw in the trailer that it's only going to be in theaters one day, from what I saw.
What are
Really?
they doing? One day theater and then doing streaming?
I think so.
That's
Oh,
interesting. Because I feel like that'd be a movie you'd want to see on the
big
Let's-
big screen.
Let's all go opening night and see it in 40X at fucking Opry. Now, do you guys know about this 40X theater they have?
No.
Okay,
No.
let me tell you about some
Shopry
40X. Huh?
It's at Shopryland.
Yeah. Yeah, at Shopryland. They got a okay, let me tell you about some 40X, all right? So I went there with my friend to see Demon Slayer when the movie came out. And it was the only place I could find it. And the tickets were like 25 bucks a piece. And I'm like, okay, that's weird, but I really want to see this movie, so whatever. I didn't pay attention, I just bought the tickets. So we get there and I sit down in the seat and it's like a full-on fucking recliner. It's like not a movie seat. It's like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is some high-end shit, but I'm like, whatever. So then they do a little like it wasn't a trailer or anything. They just do like a little like animation before the movie starts, like let's all go to the lobby, one of those kind of
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
And the whole fucking seat just like starts swinging around, not a little bit, like enough to make my drink spill, like fucking insane. And like full swivel. And then like and there's wind blowing, like intense wind blowing from both sides. And so if you're sitting on like the side, which I was, you just got wind hitting the side of your head really hard.
Oh man.
And there's mist that comes up from the bottom of the screen. And I was thinking, I leaned over to my friend and I was like, it's a good thing we watched this in English, because if we saw it subbed, like I literally wouldn't be able to read the subtitles because
Yeah.
of how much mist is coming from underneath the screen. And they have this thing on the back of the chair, like they have one in Disney too, like they have little things there, and like sprays mist in your face from like on the back of the chair.
That's kind of similar to like
Yeah, they had the Bugs Life thing
the
at Disney.
Bugs Life.
Mhm.
Or like,
That's what it reminds me of what you're
I
saying.
remember that one. They had a
Yeah.
Fantasia one too.
they
Yeah.
had that one, and then they also had a Muppet one too, way back in the day.
At Disney.
Yep.
I think
So
I saw the Fantasia one.
the Fantasia one has like a Beauty and the Beast part in it, like where they do
Doesn't
like
it have the pop part too, where like the water comes at you?
yeah.
That's interesting. It'd be funny if
That's
Batman.
so-
Do they have like smells and stuff coming to the?
Smell-o-vision.
I
Smell-
don't think they took it that far. I don't think so.
At Disney World or Land, whichever one was Florida, the Stitch, whatever the Stitch ride, they had a Stitch one that was kind of like that.
Hmm.
It was like partially, you weren't watching a screen, you were looking at this area, but it had the same kind of thing. They had scents and the seats, and it's kind of weird like that.
They had smells with Batman. That would be really bad because
Yeah,
there's no
I don't-
way.
Gotham smells bad.
I'm sure Gotham
Yeah.
smells bad.
There's no way Gotham
But also
smells
after a hard night of crime fighting, there's no way
Oh,
Batman in that tight suit.
I don't
Other
want to
than just-
smell Robert Pattinson. No, thank
No.
you.
He just smells like Ben Gay. He's like, I got some sore muscles. The whole movie is just him rubbing them down. Just an advertisement.
So despite everything we just said, we have to go see the Batman in 40X when it comes out. We have to do that. I in all seriousness though, I do want to see the new Sonic the Hedgehog like that when it comes out. That's the perfect kind of movie to watch like that. But oh yeah, so I watched Demon Slayer like that, and at no point did it stop being distracting. Like it was hard to pay attention. I was laughing my ass off. It was a fun time because of how ridiculously over the top it was. But like at no point was it like I could like pay attention to what was going on because it was so ridiculous.
Were you strapped in?
No, I should have been though. I could have seriously injured myself the way they flung me around.
I was gonna say, like, it'd be hard to eat popcorn and like your popcorn.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, like you had to watch it. Like they had a big thing in between the seats where you could put things, like where the drink holders were. So like a little place where you could put everything. But yeah, if you were holding it, there's a good chance your popcorn's gonna go flying out of your hand for sure.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's funny that they would do that because that's how they make all their money is like snacks and
well, you already bought it, so now you have to go get another one.
So is all the drink holder and stuff stationary?
Yeah, the cup holders are stationary.
So like you're going to reach for your drink at the wrong part of the movie and you just get yanked away from it.
Yeah, it just breaks your arm. Snaps your limb.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the new roller coaster.
This just in: child killed in theater decapitation because
oh my
God. Real lasers were used.
Oh my God.
Gale Force winds, just like slamming you into the wall. Yeah.
That's when they know they've gone too far, is when they're watching the new Star Wars and kid hit with real lightsaber.
So besides the album, do you guys have anything coming up soon that you want to tell Alice about?
We're playing March 4th at Cobra.
Yeah.
And that's with Nahoda and Drifters
in Bellacore.
Oh yeah.
Be a good one. We're playing March 11th at the 5 spot. That's with Blind Scryer and Voltage Hawk. And there's a fourth. I can't think of the other band on there. I feel bad. But that's a good one on the 5 spot. But yeah, our main thing, we're just trying to finish this album. Try to get some, video work done for it as well. And then see how that release goes. Our album Trouble Comes, which came out in 2017, turns 5 this year.
So we might have some stuff planned for that.
Yeah, we might. We do.
Hell yeah. That's what's up. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm definitely gonna try and make it at least to the show you're playing with Drifters. Dan's been on the show before. He's a good guy. I like him a lot.
Very nice.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate you taking your time to do this. This has been a blast.
Yeah,
it's been a great time. Thanks for having us.
Yep. Alice, I'll put in the description to the dates below and links so you can check out Year of October. They're streaming on all platforms. They've already got a huge catalog of music for you to listen to while you're waiting on the new release, so definitely check that out. All right. Well, y'all have a good night. See you next time, Alice.
Yeah, see ya.